with another Xcode tutorial. And before I get this tutorial started, I just want to let you all know that I won't be making any videos over Easter because I'll be on holiday. So I'm going to get as many as I can do on the weekend done. And that will include sound projects, which I'm doing today, and I'm doing 2 of them today. And tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be doing some on UI web views and UI sliders, but I'll get to that when I get to that. So today we're doing the sound project, and if you came here from last video, I did say I was going to teach you how to do play, pause and stop, but you know, I thought I might as well teach you the other way of making a sound, because it's a lot easier. You can do the play, pause, stop a lot easier, and it's you know, it uses a different framework, so if you want to use a different framework you can do that, and it also supports longer sound files. So if you want to play a song, it supports long sound files better than the other one. So to start with, we need to import the new framework. So if we go to our target, go down here, go down to build phases, go down to where it says link binary with libraries, go down there, press the plus, and it's called AVFoundation. So just search for AV and there you go. And I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to drag it into my framework just to make it look a bit neater, so it's nicely in there. Now, to start with on this, we're going to need to put the AVFoundation audio player in the .h. So I'm going to import that by using the Alt-3 to make the hash key, import, select the bottom one with the carrots, and we're going to kind of go to the foundation. So we're going to go AVFoundation, and then we're going to use the audio player in the foundation framework. So we go / AVAudioPlayer. And don't forget the .h, otherwise it won't work. So there you go. And the reason why I put it in the .h instead of the .m, because I'm going to make it the delegate. I'm going to make this file the delegate file for our sound player, just to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing by declaring stuff in the .h, because you don't need to declare stuff in the .h. It's perfectly easy to do it in the .m, but I'm going to do it so I can release them easier and use them later when we do the play, pause, stop, and you'll see why. So at the end of the @interface line, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to open Rcarrot, and I'm going to set it to the AVAudioPlayerDelegate like that. So just start typing it, it should autocomplete. And then I'm going to create 2 outlets, one for the URL for the file path, and then the actual sound player, which is what comes with the AVAudioPlayer framework. So I'm going to type them out and I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, I'm back, and as you can see, I've put a outlet in for a URL, and I've put an outlet in for the player. So the URL is going to hold our file path to our sound within our resources, and the audio player is going to be the thing that's actually going to play our sound. Now, as I said, you can do all of this in the .m. All you need to do is copy and paste this over, you know, and then just, instead of that, you delete the semicolon, you go space equals space, AVAudioPlayer, alloc, and stuff like that. But for purposes, you'll see in the other tutorial, I'm doing it this way, and I suggest you do as well. Make sure you make it the delegate. You don't have to, but again, for purposes, I'm going to show you later, you need to. So, yeah, now into the .m. This is all the old stuff, so we don't need that. I'm going to comment it out by doing the 2 slashes at the start of each one, because I might need to use it later. And now I'm going to set up the URL to actually point to where we want our file to be. So we're going to point it to our sound file. So I'll type that out and I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, I'm back. So as you can see, I've got the sound file that we made in the .h. I've called it an NSURL. I've called a fileURLWithPath. I've gone to the main bundle of the resource. I've gone to the pathForResource. I've named it. Make sure you name it exactly the same as your sound. So I've named it beep1 because that's the name of my sound. And its ofType is going to be WAV. And it's very similar to what we did up here, but instead of creating a string, we're going to go straight to the URL because it's a lot simpler and easier to do. So yeah, it's very similar to that. Next, I'm going to actually use the AVAudioPlayer framework now to actually do what we want it to do. So I'll type that out and I'll be back in a minute. Alright guys, I'm back, and as you can see, I've called our sound. I've given it some memory with AVAudioPlayer alloc. I've given it the contents of a URL, and that URL is going to be the one we made here, so it's soundFile. It also has an error function, not really sure what that means, but I put nil, and nil works perfectly fine. And then I've set its delegate to self. And the reason why I can set it to self is because we've declared that in the .h. So if we go back to the .h, we've called it the player delegate, the AV audio player delegate. If we didn't do that, we wouldn't be able to set it to self, and therefore it would just go there and cry. So yep, and then just like in the UI alert view tutorials, where you say UI alert view show, we're going to do the same thing, but instead we're going to say sound play, and that's what you need to do. I have gone down here to the dealloc method here, and I have released these two things we made in the .h, so we don't clog up our memory. And that's all we need to do for now. So I'm going to build and run, and I'll be back to show you it works. Alright guys, I'm back, and as you can see, here's our project here. I click play sound, and there's our sound. And as you can see, there is a bit of delay, and that is the downside of using this type of player. It's a bit of delay to play. But once you've clicked it once, it will play instantly again. So it just takes a little time to initialize it, and then it will play. Unlike the other one we used where it will play straight away, it will take a little time to play. But as I said, this does support longer files, so longer songs. So you can play background music with this or something like that. And I'll teach you how to loop it, and I'll teach you how to, change the volumes, play, pause, stop in the next tutorial. So thanks for watching, guys. Next tutorial should appear here. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, put them in the comments. And don't forget to rate and subscribe. See you in the next tutorial.